Hello, hello, you wonderful folk. How are you? Today I'm going to talk about US aid. Not for any reason. It's not a spiritual conversation. It's nothing about it. I just want to talk about it. And I want to bring up some things, which I'll tell you all about on the other side. So, Elon Musk. Now, you know that one of the dictators in Latin America can't pronounce Elon Musk's name, and he says Elon Musk. Elon Musk. So in our house, whenever we refer to Elon, we always say Elon Musk. Elon Musk. So anyway, Elon's got this Doge, okay, D-O-G-E. And he's going in, he went into USAID and he did a bit of an audit. Now, what I'm amazed at is how quickly he managed to get all this information. In a couple of days, like 2 or 3 days. So either he's got a system, that is the dog's bollocks. I mean, the best system ever. Or it's been going on for a while and they just announced it recently. Anyway, doesn't matter, that's not important. So he's finding all of this stuff, and then he's going off and he's going into the education department, and then he's going into the Pentagon and all over the shant, finding corruption. And I mean, corruption at a level that the numbers don't mean anything to me. You know, I see like 15 and then I see like 12 zeros, and I think, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know how it's possible to spend that amount of money. How can anybody spend that amount of money? What have you got to do what have you got to do to spend $1 billion? How much effort? I mean, there must be worn out. Spending all of that money. It's awesome. And I think the US debt clock has just suddenly changed completely. Like they found 63 billion in the first 4 days or something. Oh my God. But what I thought was hilarious was the things that USAID has been supporting. Now, the people that are against what Elon Musk is doing are crying out, saying, "This is terrible. Who is he? We don't even know who he is. Who is he to go raking round our dirty knickers and underwear?" Literally, I mean, I think they probably supported that. They probably funded, an investigation into how long does it take to clean a dirty set of knickers or whatever. I don't know. But they're going crazy about it, and yet they're like unearthing the amount of corruption it's up to the heavens. It's up to the bridles of the horses. And there's some of them that, as they've been coming out, I've been laughing my tits off. I really have. I mean, the funniest one had to be what USAID was involved in. It was another group that was doing it, but the money was coming from them. There were one study that was being funded, shrimps on treadmills. All right, so the study, I had a little bit of a browse just so that I knew what I was talking about, because on the face of it, shrimps on treadmills seems a little bit out there, doesn't it? Like, really? Shrimps on treadmills? Anyway, what they did was they wanted to know the effect of climate change on shrimps and how easily they were stressed. To find out the stress levels of shrimps, what they did was they put them on treadmills and then they wired them up and they started checking to see how stressed they got. This cost a lot of money. So I don't know the outcome of the study. I don't know if I don't know how fast they ran, the shrimps. I don't know for how long, over what period, and I don't know what heart rate, if they have hearts. I would assume they do. I don't know what the heart rate reached or whether they were stressed when they did it. But that was something that's a study, okay? And I know there's loads of jokes about, people are making jokes like that. The one guy who was crying, saying, "I've lost my job and I spent the last 7 years doing a study to see if the wheels on the bus really do go round and round." And he's crying. It was hilarious. But you don't need to make them up. $4.5 million to combat disinformation, misinformation and malinformation in Kazakhstan. Right? So the US people, not USAID, the people are financing combating misinformation in Kazakhstan. 99% of Americans would not be able to put their finger on Kazakhstan in the map. Nor can I. I don't know where it is. I know it's somewhere over there, heading toward Russia, but I don't know. I mean, how big is Kazakhstan? Apparently it's quite big. But what's that about? What is that about? I think I know what it's about. Anyway, do you think 4.5 million went to that? Or did it go to Kazakhstan and then get passed around amongst? Apparently Kazakhstan is a big centre for the baddies, eh? Apparently, so I heard. I could be wrong. 1.5 million in Egypt for gender scholars. Whatever that means. I mean, the stuff I've been saying has all had that theme, the DEI theme. And it was like America was exporting that across the world, just pouring billions, if not trillions, into that kind of thing. 790,000 for electric motorcycle charging stations in the US. No, in Uganda, because we know the need for electric bikes in Uganda. I mean, they're screaming. Give us more charging stations for our electric bikes in Uganda. And then we've got 3 million in Brazil. 3 million went to Brazil for this. Let me read the title. Girl-centered climate action. Girls, what even does that mean? That only girls are allowed, right? We're going to give you, what is it? We've got 3 million, but it's only going to girls, Brazilian girls, for climate action. What is that? I mean, I saw some videos of some girls dancing, complaining about climate change. I wonder whether that was in with the funding, or did it go to line people's pockets? There's a word called kickback, isn't there? And I think what I see with all of this is that the money has gone out, vast amounts, and I think it probably reaches that area and then it just comes back again. But it doesn't go back to USAID, it goes into the pockets of the people who organised that. So they get a little payoff and then give us. It happens all the time. When I worked in Mexico, my head mechanic, right, from Scotland, John he was called, he did a deal. We were buying hundreds of machines, sewing machines. It was a lot of money. It was like 500,000, okay? And my other mechanic, who was my friend, came to me and he said, we were in a meeting with the machine company. And John, he said, so we're going to give you the contract, 500,000 contract. And he opened the drawer and he pulled out a photograph of a motorbike, a Harley Davidson motorbike, Easy Rider. And he said, so really that's all that we want so that you can get the contract. That's a kickback. I'll give you this, but I want this. Okay, so God only knows how many people. I mean, they do say that USAID has been funding this as well. However, here in Spain, we had a week off and they're back again. So obviously it wasn't funding here in Spain. But it's a kind of thing. What's the betting that if that's happening in the US, that's happening in all the countries? It's the same thing. It's money laundering, isn't it? Which is we're going to use the taxpayers' money. We're going to send it out and bring it back. And it's going to come back clean. And on the face of it, we're doing all these wonderful things to help people. We can't help the people in our own country, but bloody hell, if you live in Uganda, Brazil, or wherever, Afghanistan, if you live in Kazakhstan, we are there. We are there for you. And I've left this one to last, only because this is the one that made me guffaw. I guffawed when I heard this because it was like, in terms of DEI, you could not get any more, you couldn't cram any more DEI into it. I mean, it's at maximum. This project is maximum DEI. Let me read it to you because I don't get it wrong. So the NEA awarded a 10,000 grant. Granted, that's not a lot of money, right? It's not a lot of money. That's like piddle compared to what they've been given away. But 10,000 grant for a drag queen cabaret ice skaters who put on a show about climate change. So the title was something like Ice Skating Drag Queens for Climate Change. All right, not for climate change, I think against climate change. But like, they've managed to get in the drag queens, bit of ice skating, climate change. I mean, what else could they put in there to be more sort of diverse and equal and inclusive? And I can only imagine what that would look like. And I thank God on a moment by moment basis that I never had to watch that. I recall that it was in the summer, we had a festival here, and I make videos for our Spanish channel, and I was making videos of things, and then they said, oh, we've got a storyteller coming. And as I was out for a run, I had my phone, and I saw all the kiddies there. I saw my wife, she had a face like a smacked arse, and I thought, that's strange. So I pulled up to where they were doing the story, listened for like 30 seconds, and the girl was telling a story about climate change and about rubbish and about where to throw rubbish, and oh my God. And I just thought, oh, the kids just want to hear like a fairy story, have a goodie, a baddie, a prince, a princess, something fun. And it was all like angst, because they only have one thing. The DEI people only have angst. They're always anxious. We've got to save the planet. We've got to save the people. We've got to save the minorities. We've got to save everyone. They're always anxious, and I think it's time that we had a bit of fun, don't you? Just like a bit of, have a Coke, have a smile, shut the fuck up, stop being so anxious, and just, roll with it a bit. That's what I think. So let's see what happens when they come out of the Pentagon. God only knows. Because, they keep losing trillions. They lose trillions, the Pentagon. It's the biggest black hole you could possibly imagine. And think about the education as well. Already stuff's coming out about what they've been funding. Nothing good, I can assure you. So, what have you heard along the way on the grapevine about USAID? It's incredible, isn't it? More to come, I think. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.